So next week, Adobe is announcing their MCP. But for all of us regular folks out here, what is an MCP? How does it work with there's Claude Skills, there's Claude Cowork, there's Claude
Yes,
Code. How does all this work
sure. I mean, all an MCP is a way for a model to go into the world and do something.
together?
So what the Marketo MCP is Adobe has released essentially something that you can plug your model into and let your model take actions inside of Marketo and read data inside of Marketo. It's like an API, but for models instead of for developers,
Okay,
essentially.
and when you say models, what you mean by that is Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini,
Yes.
all of those fancy
Yep.
ones.
So an MCP says, here are the things you can do, and it also has a little bit of documentation in there so the model knows how to use them, what they do, and how to like work through all the different steps.
Okay, cool. That makes sense. So then let's take Claude. If you had Claude, how would the MCP fit in with all the different features that Claude has?
So when you hook the MCP up to Claude and start a new chat, it's basically telling the model, hey, there's some extra things you can do in here. And then the model can opt to do them or it can opt to not, depending on what you're telling it to do. But there's it kind of intersects sideways with the different flavors of Claude because there's the normal one, there's Cowork, there's Code, and so that that axis is the harness. It's what the model is living in, what the environment that's provided to the model is, and you plug the MCP into the harness. So the MCP is saying, okay, in Cowork, I'm the model, I have a to-do list, I have some files I can edit, and also I have all these actions I can take in Marketo.
Okay. How does that harness differ then across Claude Code and regular Claude?
Sure. I mean, so Claude Code is the fancy one, and regular Claude isn't, and Claude Cowork is like a diet version of Claude Code. That's basically as simple as it gets. You have Claude Code, which is all the fancy bells and whistles. It has a to-do list that it can write tasks down on to keep it straight. It can, read files, edit files. It can connect to whatever MCP you have. Claude Cowork is like a slightly simpler version of that. That's a little easier to use. It has bigger buttons.
Okay. So Claude Cowork is for regular people like me. Claude Code is for people like you, basically.
It's got more knobs. It's got more knobs and levers and things you can get in and change.
And then where does Claude Skills fit into all this?
So skills, people think skills are much fancier than they are. All a skill is, it is very literally a zip file full of some documents that you put into the model and tells it how to do something. That is all a skill is. Yeah. So sometimes, I mean, skills get a little fancy because sometimes you include little scripts, little bits of code in there, and the model can read them and be like, oh, I can just run that to do what I need. But people get confused because both an MCP and a skill seems like, oh, I'm just plugging the model into X, but they work a little differently. The skill is more so like, here is my procedure that like I'm training you to do X. I'm telling you how X is done. The MCP is, okay, I'm giving you abilities that let you accomplish X. So usually if you have a complex task, you'll actually need both. You need a skill that tells the model like, here's what you're doing, here's how to do it. The skill makes the model an expert in that thing. And then the MCP actually lets the model carry out those actions against whatever system it is.
A really bad analogy, and you tell me if I'm wrong. So
Sure.
it sounds like the skill is the cookbook and the MCP is the kitchen. And you have to let the
Yes.
cook into the kitchen in order for
Yeah.
something to happen.
No,
And the
that is a perfect analogy.
okay, and then the LLM is your chef in this case.
Yeah. And the LLM will, again, it is actually just like a cookbook because in the skill, there is a thing called skill.md that's basically like a table of contents. And so when you see on your screen, oh, the model has used this skill, it just means it read the table of contents. And then the model can opt to go read the individual recipes in the skill because it's read the table of contents and it knows what's in there. So that when you ask it, hey, make a chicken Alfredo, it's like, oh, I'm just going to go to that page and read just the chicken Alfredo recipe. And then I'm using my, I don't know, my skill at MCP to go cook it.
Okay, well, thank you so much. This was super helpful. And then I think you and I have some more demos planned. So
Oh, yes.
I think people can catch us again later on.